In this video, we will explore how cleaning staff are paid in Denmark, and what that means both for fairness to workers and for the cost structures that Danish businesses face. Denmark is often highlighted for its strong social model, high wages, and competitive economy, and the cleaning sector is a very clear example of how those elements come together in practice. Understanding this landscape is important not just for employers operating in Denmark, but also for international businesses benchmarking labor strategies, investors assessing cost competitiveness, and policymakers considering how labor models shape productivity, service quality, and long-term sustainability. To start, it is important to note that Denmark does not rely on a universal statutory minimum wage. Instead, the country is built around collective bargaining agreements negotiated between employers' associations and trade unions. In cleaning, these agreements define typical hourly wages, overtime rules, shift premiums, and pension contributions, as well as standards for working conditions. While the exact figures vary by agreement, experience, geography, and whether work is done during evenings or nights, Danish cleaning staff typically earn hourly wages that are significantly higher than those in many other European countries, particularly in Central and Eastern Europe. When you layer in employer contributions to pensions, holiday pay, and social security, the total labor cost becomes even more substantial. From a worker's perspective, this structure supports a relatively decent standard of living. Cleaning staff in Denmark are not among the highest earners, but they are less likely to fall into deep working poverty compared with peers in lower wage economies. The combination of higher wages, strong worker protections, and predictable hours provides income security and reduces high turnover, low commitment employment relationships that are common in the cleaning sector elsewhere. That said, there are still differences between directly employed cleaners and subcontracted or agency workers, and concerns remain about the risk of underpayment or undeclared work, especially in more fragmented parts of the market. Still, the institutional framework, strong unions, and a relatively high degree of enforcement and social scrutiny help keep abuses in check and maintain a baseline expectation of fairness. From a business standpoint, these relatively high wages translate directly into higher operating expenses, particularly in sectors that are cleaning intensive such as offices, retail, healthcare, hospitality, and public facilities. For a Danish company outsourcing office cleaning, labor often accounts for the majority of the service cost, and the limited scope for wage suppression forces both clients and providers to think carefully about efficiency and value. Instead of competing primarily on low wages, cleaning firms in Denmark tend to compete on service quality, reliability, flexibility, and process optimization. This has several implications. First, there is a stronger incentive to invest in training, standard operating procedures, and modern equipment. Better tools and product choices can increase productivity per hour, reducing the number of hours needed for a given cleaning standard. Second, schedules and routes are often optimized using digital systems, enabling teams to cover more space in less time or to better align cleaning intensity with actual usage. Third, technology adoption, such as automated floor scrubbers or smart dispensers that signal when supplies are low, helps reduce both labor time and waste. Ultimately, when labor is expensive and difficult to adjust downward, businesses are pushed to innovate and refine their operating models instead of cutting corners on pay. For international companies considering Denmark as a location, cleaning wages form part of a broader cost equation. On the surface, facilities management in Denmark is more expensive than in low-wage countries, but this needs to be evaluated against higher labor productivity, lower absenteeism, and greater predictability. The Danish model tends to deliver stable service quality, fewer disruptions, and stronger reputational alignment with ESG expectations, particularly on the S dimension related to fair labor practices. For companies with global reporting obligations and stakeholder scrutiny, paying living wages to all staff, including cleaners, can strengthen brand credibility and mitigate reputational risk. There is also a competitive labor market perspective. When cleaning roles are relatively well compensated and socially recognized, employers can attract more reliable staff, keep them longer, and reduce the constant churn that drives up hidden costs in lower wage environments, such as recruitment, training, quality lapses, and supervisory overhead. However, it is also true that not all Danish businesses experience this system as purely positive. Smaller firms and cost-sensitive sectors sometimes perceive cleaning wages as a burden, particularly when contracts are won through competitive tenders where price remains a key criterion. Public institutions and municipalities face similar tensions. They must balance budget constraints with commitments to fair pay for outsourced staff. Over time, this dynamic has fueled debates about how much to outsource versus keep in-house, how to design tenders that emphasize quality and social responsibility, and whether to require that suppliers adhere to specific collective agreements. For many organizations, the answer has been to move away from a pure, lowest price wins mentality and introduce award criteria that also value quality assurances, training programs, and documented compliance with labor standards. This shift recognizes that very low bids in a high-wage environment may signal unrealistic assumptions or potential non-compliance, which can lead to higher downstream risk. Looking ahead, several trends are likely to shape Denmark's cleaning wage landscape and associated business costs. Demographic pressures and labor shortages in certain regions can put upward pressure on wages and increase competition for workers, reinforcing the importance of being an attractive employer. Automation will continue to play a role, not in fully replacing staff, but in reallocating labor from repetitive manual tasks to more value-adding activities such as detailed cleaning, hygiene-critical procedures, or customer-facing tasks. Sustainability commitments also intersect with cleaning, as companies seek environmentally friendly products and methods, which may change cost structures but can also enhance employer branding and client satisfaction. For executives and decision-makers, navigating this environment effectively requires integrating cleaning staff wages into a holistic cost and value perspective. Instead of treating cleaning purely as a cost center to be minimized, leading organizations in Denmark are increasingly viewing it as part of their broader employee experience, brand promise, and ESG agenda. Clean, well-maintained workplaces support productivity, health, and employee morale, and ensuring that the people who deliver that environment are paid fairly is part of a coherent, responsible business strategy. In summary, Denmark's approach to cleaning staff wages reflects the core features of its labor market model: collective bargaining, relatively high pay, and a focus on social fairness. For workers, it provides a more secure and dignified livelihood than is common in many other markets. For businesses, it creates higher direct labor costs, but also incentivizes efficiency, innovation, and quality, while reinforcing reputational and ESG benefits. Organizations operating in Denmark, or benchmarking against it, should recognize that the question is not simply, are wages too high? But rather, how can we design our operations, contracts, and partnerships to make fair pay work as a foundation for sustainable performance?